advice is to use your About Us section to not only give your mission statement, but really an indication of where your organization is currently and where you're headed. So for example, are you initiating a new program? Are you about to celebrate an anniversary? Are you embarking on a capital campaign? Be as specific as possible when it comes to something that could potentially affect this person's role or something they're going to need to do right when they start in their position. And it should also reflect your style. So a mission statement does that to a certain extent, but if you're a very serious organization and you are a tugging at the heartstrings organization, then incorporate that in there. If you're a very kind of playful and whimsical organization, incorporate that language. If there's certain vocabulary that you use, this is a good place to put it to give the applicant or potential applicant an idea of what your organization is like if they don't already know about you. Our second piece of advice is breaking down the specific duties and revenue streams that this position will focus on, and consider adding percentages if possible. So the more specific you can be, the better candidates you'll attract. We know that when we do this, it can look really intimidating, and sometimes it's a little bit shocking for some of our partners when we present them with this 3-page position description, and they're like, whoa, that's a lot of detail. But what it does is you, first of all, avoid kind of blindsiding your candidates by being really clear up front about what's going to be expected of them and the amount of time that they should anticipate dedicating to each of these job functions. And I have to say, this is one of the things that we really constantly include and have put it in this part, because candidates regularly and more often than not, express that they really appreciate the way this has been laid out and the level of detail that we add to our position descriptions. The next is understanding and stating the difference between what are your must-haves and your nice-to-have qualities. And this is a theme that you're going to hear me talk about more and more this afternoon. It kind of will come back in a lot. Your new hire should complement and add to your team or fill gaps. So if you already have a communications manager or a grant writer, you want someone who understands those functions, but not necessarily someone with strong experience in those areas. Education, that's another thing I'm going to talk about a lot. A bachelor's degree is not necessary to be a great development professional, but it might be important to your organization, especially if you have an education-based organization. So think about education as, is a 4-year degree a must-have? Is it something that's a nice to have, or can it be completely eliminated from your position description altogether? Along with that, I would say to make sure that you are as specific as possible with both your salary range and your benefits. So always, always, always include a salary range, where, again, that's another thing we're going to talk about a lot today. It's fine to create some wiggle room in there on the high end, but just be as honest as possible. And your benefits similarly should be as detailed as you can. You should expect that candidates look at these in tandem. So we often hear candidates say, well, the salary range posted is a little under what I am seeking or what I'm hoping for, but I always consider benefits alongside salary. So as clear as you can be about both of those pieces right up front, the better it will be for attracting a great candidate.